scientific tests run lately that have involved three different groups. One are those who meditate on a daily basis. Another is those that infrequently meditate. And the third group are those that don't meditate at all. And they have now proven that heart brain synchronization facilitates both mental and emotional stability. This has become a scientific fact. A lot of times people say, don't mix up science and don't mix up math with God. And I say to myself, why not? He's the most scientific, mathematical being in the entire universe. Science is only just now beginning to click into many of the truths and the mysteries of God that have been hidden for a long time. That means we are now tapping into an understanding of the mental, emotional health benefits that come from daily practice of meditation. So, how do we increase our heart brain coherence? Number one, meditate. That is a very important thing. If you aren't sure about how to meditate, I really want to encourage you to go on our website. We have over 100 meditations already recorded on there. And I find it very, very helpful to follow the directions of the ones that have been chosen to lead those meditations. So I'm very aware of the benefit of those meditations, many of which also include and incorporate into them the teachings that I'm bringing forth on the website. I'm really dedicated to going back and looking at the recordings, and I myself follow the directives that are done by the meditation leaders. Part of the reason why they've been called to that is because that is something specifically written on their scrolls, and they do an excellent job of it. I really want to encourage everybody, and in fact, I'm probably on my second or third time around listening to many of those meditations. I just run through the whole gamut and then I start over again. But I'm very, very faithful to at least 1 hour a day meditate. Now, many of you would say, well, I don't really have 1 hour a day. I'm here to tell you, nobody out there is busier than I am. My schedule is amazing. But the reason why I have the energy to exercise this schedule is because I'm faithful to meditate. Number two, do the regular breathing exercises. I have a teaching on the website called The Breath of God. And I really would encourage you to go and get that teaching, because in our culture today, we have begun to very shallowly breathe. What that means is we very rarely get into deep breathing sufficient enough to oxygenate all of our organs to keep them healthy. So part of the teaching that I do, even in regards to the sound, is always start out with deep breathing. As you breathe in, deep breath, hold that breath in your lungs for a count of 4. And when you release it, just make a sound. Ah. So you breathe deep, hold, 2, 3, 4, release. Ah. Whenever you do that, your body is training itself to relax and be at peace. Number 3, focus on your heart. The importance of focusing on our heart is understanding that our heart is a thinking organ. It's not just a pump. It's not just something that God put in us so that we could pump blood to all of our organs. It is actually an intelligent thinking part of our body. That's why the word says, as a man thinketh in his heart, not in his mind, as he thinks in his heart, so is he. It's important for us to learn how to concentrate on what is in our heart, so that the things that are in our heart will come into consistent alignment with the way he designed us to function. Step number 4, breathe into your heart. I know this sounds strange, but I actually do this every morning myself. I will deep breathe, hold it, look down at my chest, and release the breath to my heart area. Step 4, breathe into your heart. I know that sounds a little bit strange. How do you breathe into your heart? But I actually do this myself every day, right when I'm beginning my meditation process. I'll draw in my breath, hold 2, 3, 4, look down at my heart, and breathe over my heart. Many times we're unaware of how our body itself responds to our daily activities. I speak to my body every morning when I get up. I have things that I do to heighten my level of frequency. And not too long ago, I jumped out of a truck and I pulled my meniscus and my ACL both at the same moment. When that happened, I was in so much pain, I couldn't put even 1 ounce of weight on my right leg. So I got an iTero wand and began to wand my leg. After 5 minutes of wanding with the iTero wand, I could stand and walk as normal. After that, the Lord began to speak to my heart to begin to train my body to rejuvenate. So after I get done wanding, which I do every morning and every night before I go to bed, I actually rub my body with cream and say on my leg or my knee area, I just make up a little poem. That poem goes, I love my skin, I love my knees, I love my vein and arteries. Because I love you, I can say, rejuvenate, regenerate, reactivate. As I'm rubbing up and down my legs, I can actually feel my muscles, my arteries responding to the sound of my voice. I do the same with my feet. I put my feet up and I cream my bottom of my feet and I say, I love my ankles, I love my feet, I love my nerves, they are so sweet. Because I love you, I can say, reactivate, rejuvenate, regenerate, reactivate, rejuvenate, regenerate. One of the things that I conclusively say is your body responds to the sound of your voice. If you want to be rejuvenated, if you want to be regenerated, if you want to be reactivated, begin to speak to your body, because your body's not just going to disappear. It is actually for the full triune being of humanity that Yeshua came and gave his blood, that we might have immortality, that we might have abundant long life. And if you want to know more about that, go to the teaching called Restoration of Immortality. There are many, many verses in the Bible that address that particular thing. Step number 5, feel a positive emotion. Many times, one of the most important things is how we feel and how we control our emotions. If you have positive emotions in your heart, such as love, compassion, joy, gratitude, thankfulness, appreciation, and serenity, you're going to find that your heart and your brain come into coherence much more simply. You can visualize something in your mind. Just close your eyes and visualize what would have created one of those emotions for you. For example, you can visualize how you're grateful for your home and feel that gratitude in your heart. Every morning with my coffee, I walk out onto my balcony and I look at Pikes Peak and all of its grandeur and beauty. And I just say out loud several times, Lord, I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful that you've given me a home where I can see your majesty and see your splendor anytime I step out onto my balcony. One of the things that the heart of God responds to more quickly than anything else is gratitude and thankfulness for the things that he has given us. Or you might want to think of a pleasant experience that you may have had in your life and try to recapture the feeling you had as a result of that particular experience. A lot of times I'll think, okay, Lord, give me the recall of a perfect experience. And all of a sudden, I'll find myself in Shannon's bedroom delivering my grandson. I see that when he came out, he was in a pool of water, and because he was in a pool of water, he had no need to breathe because he was born reminiscent of the womb. I just held him under the water and I prophesied his whole life over him before he ever even took his first breath. I will think about that moment and it fills my heart with such incredible joy. And I think, Lord, thank you for the opportunity of prophesying my grandson's purpose into his life before he drew his first breath. You can take those positive feelings or feelings of gratitude, and they evoke immediate heart response. They bring your heart back into a level of peace, a level of joy that is above and beyond normal. When your heart is experiencing loving feelings, this is what happens in your brain. Your brain waves become very steady flow. When they're in that perfect flow is when they can actually come into synchronicity with your heart frequency. Negative feelings, on the other hand, can cause dissonance in our brain, in our brain wave patterns. It makes them very jagged and very fractious, so to speak. Feelings like anger, bitterness, unforgiveness, doubt, unbelief, greed, envy, betrayal, rejection. Oh, that poor little me victim mentality will drive your brain waves away from the possibility of becoming coherent with the waves that come out of your heart. Many of our negative thoughts are driven by what the experts call the flight or fight part of our brain. That contains some of the most devastating emotions of all, one of which is fear. Fear of death, fear of calamity, fear of sickness, fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of betrayal, fear of loneliness. All of those fears can bring your brain frequencies into a very jagged, non-synchronizable pattern that will not equate with your, or will not relate to your heart frequency.